So I thought I'd make a wee video in the parks, because I'm off today, about boredom. The funny thing is, when I first woke up, I thought, I had that feeling, I'll go to the park. Then another thought came into it, but it's 2. Can you be bothered walking there? It's going to be cold outside. It's warmer in the house. You can just stay in, laze about. But you can do that whenever. I can do that anytime. So I suppose the video's also about not getting into their thoughts that potentially put you off doing things that you know you would feel better. You would feel better if you were to actually do them. Because the funny thing is, it's thinking that makes you bored. It's also thinking that can put you off doing things. The fact that you're bored in the first place means that you're in the thinking mind, you're in the egoic mind. You don't always have to be identified with it, especially when it's telling you not to do something that, as I said, you'd probably feel pretty good if you were to just do in the first place. Had a shave. I feel like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer shaves off his stubble and he looks like he's got no mouth. That's what I feel like right now. So the video's basically about boredom, or basically just giving in to your thoughts whenever they're basically trying to convince you not to do something. You're bored because you're stuck in your thoughts. You can't be bored if you're living presently, in the here and the now. And by doing that, like the video I made on present moment awareness, especially sitting in a park, it's a lot easier because you feel like you're more in touch with nature. But you can just use your senses, focus in on the sound of the birds, the trees, the wind. And again, if you can feel the wind on you, don't label that as being it's cold, because then it becomes an annoyance. Or if it's raining, you feel uncomfortable because it's raining, just feel the sensation of the rain landing on you, or the wind blowing against you. You can focus on your breathing as well, but don't ever feel that boredom setting in. That's just a clear indication that you're basically back in the thinking mind, because that's the only way you can be bored, if you're in the thinking mind, because you're comparing it to something that's maybe more stimulating or something that's maybe more exciting. Like you could be reading a book, watching the telly or something, you could be exercising, you're out with your pals. Like, you're going to compare sitting down doing nothing or sitting down and waiting on something as being boring. But whenever you feel that happen, just try to recognise that you're thinking that way, and then try some grounding techniques. In other words, what can you feel? Can you become aware of your breathing, the sounds around about you? And whenever you find yourself drifting off into thought, a lot of the time into that I'm bored thought, that's like the meditation where you go back to focusing on your breath. Treat this the same way when you're out and about. You catch yourself in the thinking mind, then you go back to focusing on what it was you were focused on. In my case, I like to focus on the sounds of the wind and the natural environment around about me. That gap of no thinking becomes longer and longer, to the point where that overtakes the gap of thoughts. So you could be in your head for like a couple of minutes thinking, then you realise it, you go back to focusing on whatever it was you were focusing on, your breathing, the sounds, what you can see, all that kind of stuff, without mentally labelling it. And you feel that presence, you feel that connected in the moment feeling. There's no such thing as being bored anymore when this is happening. Do you know what I mean? I mean, right now, you might be bored watching this video, and if you are, that's fine, but for anybody that's enjoying it, or if it helps you in any way, I mean, I'm the guy that's sitting in the park filming myself right now. But so if you feel like doing something in life, be anything, don't let the thoughts come into it saying, but what if it goes wrong? What if you embarrass yourself, or it doesn't work out as well? Well, maybe it won't. Don't always fall a victim or become identified with the ego, the thoughts. I mean, there's a time and a place for practical matters, but whenever it comes into it saying, it's going to go wrong, you're going to embarrass yourself, don't listen to that, just recognise that. And again, present moment awareness, being more in the moment, that kind of stuff basically helps you become more aware and to notice and catch these thoughts out, so you don't have to become identified with them and let them actually, again, take care. And then before you know it, so many things you put off, just fucking do it, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, who's going to laugh at you? I mean, you've got one life. I mean, we all end up the same place at some point. I mean, that's a very humbling thought. Nobody's better than anybody. It's like that Jim Morrison quote. No one here gets out alive. Anyway, I don't really know, like, you get my idea. Take it all in. Focus on the simple things that you usually just overlook because of simple distractions. Sitting here right now is as good as it's going to get. I'm not sitting here thinking about when I get home I can have a cup of tea, I'll be nice and warm, I can do things I want to do. This is what I want to do. Sitting, being present. Because whenever you feel that you've not got time to be present, you say, well, wait a minute, is that actually true? Sit down for a second, do your focusing on the moment kind of stuff, your meditation, and then once you're in that state, there's no such thing as a thought there saying, I don't want to be doing this right now. Maybe to start off with, they'll appear, but you just go back to focusing. And again, as I said, the longer you do this, that period, that time, the time that you spend in that no thinking, that no thought state, is a lot longer than your thinking state. And the more you bring this into your day, the more happier you are. It definitely helps with anxiety or depression. Not that it's going to completely cure these things, but it's an amazing tool. Because the way that I like to see this, the more you keep holding off on things, I mean, obviously you're going to be different from me. The more you keep holding off on these things, these wee things that on a subconscious level, you know that you have to do. I look at that as being like you're filling up a sink with the plug's still in, and you just leave the tap on and walk outside the room. Eventually it starts to overflow. Your thoughts eventually just start to overflow. You start to feel more angry because you're not doing the things you want to do, and sometimes you end up forgetting about them. You end up you don't know why you're upset. And that's probably, I've got this idea that that's probably what it could be. Because you're holding off on so many things and you know you're picking the lazier option to just sit about and gain nothing. No, I'm not saying that's always the case, but you kind of get where I'm going with this. So obviously it's good to get back in. You can appreciate the fact that you're warm because you were previously cold. It's like that yin-yang dynamic balance thing again, where if one of them didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to appreciate the other one. But instead of thinking, oh, no, thankfully that's me back in the house now, just enjoy, be present again, embrace that feeling, that warmth, appreciate it, instead of always looking at the previous time as being worse because, again, you were freezing cold or whatever. But I'm going to make a video about seasonal affective disorder. I'm going to bring out a couple of lucid dreaming videos as well. And again, thanks for watching. Subscribe, do it right now, no kidding. If you think this can help anybody, share it. Comment down the bottom what you want. And have a good one, take care.